I've had the good fortune to interview a number of well-known celebrities from the 60s and 70s, and all of them are still actively working today. Most of the interviews run anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, but here's a brief 5-minute clip that features short excerpts from some of the most interesting folks I chatted with this season. Dave Sholin, a well-known DJ in the Bay Area in the 70s, did the last interview with John Lennon at the Dakota on the day that Lennon was killed.
I've had the boyhood thing of being the Elvis and getting my own spot on the show. I want to be with my best friend, my wife. Who could ask for anything more? I'd sooner do something else together than not work together. And that's why I think that comes across in the work now. And we feel like this is just the start now, you see. Double Fantasies, this is the first album. I know we worked together before, we even made albums together before, but we feel like this is the first album. I feel like nothing happened before today.
People say I'm crazy.
Connie Francis's hit records in the 50s and 60s are legendary, and she's had an almost unbelievable life. Here she talks about her father's overwhelming influence on her career. Did you ever work with Sinatra?
Oh, yes. Well, Frank and I were good friends. When I was, I think it was 1962, I was offered a record contract by every major record company in the business, including Reprise, Frank's new label.
Yeah.
And they had offered me a television, my own singles and albums, 2 duet albums and two singles with Frank, a television special a year and 2 movies a year with Frank, to sign with Reprise. And my father forced me to turn down that deal because he was afraid that Frank would mess with my virginity.
No, really?
I'm not kidding.
Really?
I am not kidding. Wow. I hadn't met Frank up until that point.
In his book, Me, the Mob, and the Music, Tommy James talks about how he and his group, the Shondells, got hooked into Morris Levy, the notorious godfather of the music business.
I went to bed that night feeling really great, and the next morning, I get up, and about 9:30, the phone starts ringing, and it's all the record companies that had said yes the day before, telling us, "Listen, Tom, we got a pass."
Oh, jeez.
I said, "What do you mean you got a pass?" I thought we had a deal. And finally, Jerry Wexler at Atlantic told me the truth that Morris Levy, the head of Roulette Records, had called all the other labels and scared them and backed them down, and he told everybody that this is my record. Back off.
Oh, jeez.
and they did.
Who doesn't remember Mary Ann on Gilligan's Island? When I talked with Dawn Wells, who played that role, I got a distinctly different picture of the woman behind the image we saw on TV.
Took some acting classes and went and visited agents and got an agent right away and went to work right away. My first thing was the 77 Sunset Strip.
Yeah.
And I had 2 days work on it or something, but I played a sweet little young ingenue kind of thing. And then Warner Brothers put me under option to contract. They didn't pick up my option, but I did about 15 shows in a row, which once you have the film on you, then you can show somebody what you can do.
Oh, sure.
Then I went back to the stage and said, I got to grow some more as an actress because I'm playing the sweet young thing all the time. So I went back, and the first thing I did was play a hooker.
Okay.
Thought I'd make that image in a hurry.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
But she was a lovable hooker.
Deana Martin has a zillion stories about her father, Dean Martin, and Uncle Frank, and Sammy, and Christmas at Rosemary Clooney's. I'm telling you, we could have gone on for 3 hours.
Well, I have to say that Frank Sinatra, Uncle Frank,
yeah,
he's the one, he sat down with me. We were going to sing a song on the Dean Martin show, and I'm standing in the wings with him. And I looked up, I said, so, Uncle Frank, how do you do it? How do you get that great tone? How do you sing? And he got very technical. He says, well, Deana, it's all about the air. And he said, I take in a big breath, and I push from the diaphragm. And he says, and I can tell even before a note comes out if I'm going to be on pitch or not. And I looked at him, and I said, really? Does my dad do that? He looked at me, he said, no, your father has no idea what he's doing.
He just does it.
So there you have it. I did 31 shows this season, and each one was captivating and fun, and there was a little bit of heartbreak in there, too. I think we got the makings of a hit TV show here, so thanks for listening.